Welcome in, guys, to Seahawks Today. I'm Meghan Payton. It is Overreaction Monday. These videos are a lot more fun when the Seahawks win, I must admit, but still there's a lot to cover. First, though, I want to give a positive update. That is Darrell Taylor, who went out last night with what looked like a really scary injury. He left the game on a stretcher, but we have heard from Pete Carroll, and it is all positive so far. His CT scan came back clear. They're doing more tests just to, make sure, be positive on everything. When you're dealing with a neck injury, they're always going to be more cautious. They're going to make sure that they're running all of the tests. They don't want to miss anything, but it's actually not funny, but Darrell Taylor was actually upset that he had to be carted off. He wanted to walk up and get off on his own. Now, it makes sense. The league just wants to take that extra step of caution, but all positive news, not as serious as it did look last night on TV. But let's get into it. It is our overreaction day. We are going to hit on many things. The first one being something that is not new, but is also still very relevant for the Seattle Seahawks. And that is, will the Seahawks sign Cam Newton? To me, this is still an overreaction. Even with the performance that we saw out of Geno Smith last night, I still think this is an overreaction. And I understand why it's getting brought up. I understand the argument. And Brady Henderson, who covers the Seahawks, he took to Twitter yesterday saying, asked if Cam Newton is a consideration for the Seahawks. Carroll tells Salk that they've already talked to him. He's qualified. He qualified it a bit by saying that's a type of thing they always do and leaving no stone unturned. Said the conversation went all right, but didn't elaborate. Now, obviously, Pete Carroll is not going to give us the details of what him and Cam Newton talked about and how that conversation went about. We're not even sure. Maybe he practiced him. Right now, the only guy that we know for sure that the Seahawks have brought into practice was Blake Bortles, which obviously they did not end up going that route. Do you guys think, though, looking back now after this first week of Geno Smith, should the Seahawks sign Cam Newton? Go to the comments right now. Get your votes in. Type S for sign. Type P for pass. If you get the ad break here, make sure you get your votes in. I'm going to tell you my vote after the break. I just don't see it happening. I mean, to me, we can talk about the positives that a guy like Cam Newton would bring, but there's also some negatives. Ultimately, though, I do not think that the Seahawks are going to bring in Cam Newton. Maybe if something changes with Russ's injury and Russ has to miss more time, then that would be a different topic. Then they're looking for a more long-term guy. But right now, I mean, it's still sounding like Russell Wilson could be back for the Packers game. So that's only 2 more games without Russell Wilson. If that is the case, they're taking on the Saints this week, and then they are going to be taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't know if it's necessary to bring in a guy like Cam Newton. Now, obviously, maybe there's more that we don't know. And if the Russell Wilson injury does progress, then it might be time to reevaluate. Back to the overreactions. And the reason why we are talking about Cam Newton in the first place is because of our second overreaction, which is Geno Smith looked bad. Now, did he look great? No, he did not. And I just think that he didn't look fantastic, but he also didn't look terrible. You have to understand, he's coming in. This is a lot of pressure. He hadn't started a game in years, and he's going up against a Steelers team that's not great, but also a Steelers team that we do know has the highest paid defensive player in the league, that is TJ Watt. So it is obviously a harder battle for Geno Smith, but he did okay. 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 23 out of 32 attempts, and the forced fumble or the fumble that they got at the end was just insane. Honestly, it was a game changer. And we talked about this previewing this game. Those plays are what was going to cost Seattle the game. And ultimately, Geno Smith it wasn't good enough. He did not play well enough. And I don't want to put everything on him because there is a lot that comes with starting and not having started in years. So I will say, though, from the Seahawks perspective, I am slightly concerned. Now, could Geno improve, and could we see him have a better game against the Saints and maybe against Jacksonville, kind of clean some stuff up? I do think that could happen, and I think that actually is likely. But if the Seahawks are going to be without Russell Wilson for a longer period of time, then I'm more concerned. But right now, after just seeing his week 1 game, or not week 1, but week 6 first game, how concerned are you guys with Geno Smith's performance? Scale this from a 1 to 10. If you think he can improve, maybe you're ranking it a little bit lower. If you think it's terrible, they should move on immediately, find someone to replace Russ for those next couple weeks, you might be giving it a 10. I'm going to say my concern right now is like a 5. But, things could change. And this might not be the guy that you want to bet on, but there are plenty of people and plays and teams you should be betting on. And if you are going to bet at all this season, you want to make sure you are using BetUS. They are the best sports book. And if you go to chatsports.com/bet and you use the promo code Seahawks125, got to use that code, you're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. That means the $100 that you put up would immediately turn to $225. You've got an extra $125 to bet on whatever you like, whether that is the Seahawks or not. Next up, Overreaction Monday. We've got Alex Collins, better than Chris Carson. Now, hey, this is a slight overreaction in my opinion, but I will say Alex Collins looked very impressive last night. And I've said this before that I really like what we are seeing out of Alex Collins. I think that he has the ability to, sure, take that number 1 spot over Chris Carson. Now, it's not to at all, discredit what Chris Carson can do, but I really think Alex Collins is a guy that is going to be great for, and has been great for the Seahawks. Now, he is a little bit of a concern, though, after last night's game. He did leave early with a hip/glute injury. Now, Pete Carroll is saying that his status for this week is obviously going to, change over the next couple of days, depending on what that looks like. They're obviously going to give us probably some more updates in the next coming days, but something to watch out for. Overall, though, I think that the run game from the Seahawks is encouraging. I mean, not even just Alex Collins, but Travis Homer. He had 2 carries for 27 yards. DJ Dallas, he had 4 carries for 17 yards last night. And Rashad Penny, he's eligible to come off IR. Pete Carroll said that he's going to be full speed, ready to practice this week. So we could potentially be seeing him in the Seahawks Monday night game against the Saints. This is one of the areas that I am not concerned with Seattle. We saw how they were able to establish the run. It came a little bit late, I will say. That second half, they really showed it. But if they can get that going early on, this is going to be Seattle's probably biggest strength while Russell Wilson is gone. Next overreaction we have for you guys is Trey Brown should start at corner. Now, we've talked about how excited we were to see the rookie Trey Brown in at corner, and Pete Carroll did what Pete Carroll never does, which is rotate corners during the game. He has said before that he is not a fan of doing that, but Trey Brown did get in, and to me, him starting is not an overreaction. I think Trey Brown did really well for his first game in the NFL season. I really think that he can grow and be a great guy. I mean, and we talk about the struggles that the Seahawks have had at the cornerback position. Trey Brown ended up being able to get some more playing time when Sidney Jones went out with an injury. And to be honest, maybe this is a reason he should start after seeing what he could do. And I like Trey Brown to start. And I know it's early. We've only seen him play 1 game and not even a full game, but I think that he can be a dominant player. And we've seen what Sidney Jones can do, and it's not fantastic. Is it better than Trey Flowers? Sure, maybe. But I think Trey Brown as a rookie obviously is only going to get better and better. And he had a very impressive game, in my opinion, last night. Should the Seahawks start Sidney Jones or Trey Brown at corner? Now I've given you guys my opinion. I want to know yours. Do you think that the rookie Trey Brown should start? If so, go to the comments, type B for Brown. And if you are sticking with Sidney Jones, type J for Jones. Make sure you get your votes in. Last overreaction we have for you guys on this Monday is Jamal Adams lost the game for Seattle, and this is a slight overreaction. I mean, did he lose the game for the Seahawks? No. The Seahawks were without Russell Wilson. Obviously, that was the biggest piece missing in this game. But did Adams really fall short? He missed a huge opportunity. I mean, Big Ben literally threw it into his face, and you've got to catch that. And that could have absolutely changed the game. They could have caught that. If he caught that, they could have run the ball out. This was late in the fourth quarter. They could have gotten all the way down the field, run the clock out, kicked the field goal, game over. So it's hard for me to put one play on a game, but I will say Jamal Adams needs to perform better. Did he do better this week than he did last week? Obviously. They blitzed him more. That was always good. We told you guys I wanted to see Jamal Adams closer to the ball, and he was. But ultimately, these are plays that you can't really miss, especially if you are going to be going on national television pregame in your intro saying that you're the best in the nation. You are asking for extra criticism. I mean, and I get it. It's fun. It's all great and everything. But Jamal Adams is asking for extra eyes on him. He is looking for that extra criticism, and he's going to get it because right now he's the highest paid safety in the league. He clearly thinks he's very good, and he is, but you can't have plays like that happen. Now, we are going to keep you guys updated all season long. We have a great preview for you guys coming up later this week. We're going to be talking trade rumors, a lot of things to come for the Seattle Seahawks. So please make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss out on any Seahawks content.